Hi, it's me, Joanna from Find My Beauty, and I'm coming with you today with beauty product empties and things that haven't worked out for me, part two. I just finished going through basically like a ton load of skincare, some body products and hair care products as well, and I didn't want to overload this video and make it 30 minutes long, so I did cut it up into two sections, and now I'm going to finish off with basically my beauty makeup products. So first off, I'm going to go in with, I have beauty sponges in here. I have 3 of them to be exact. I have the L'Oreal Beauty Sponge. This is the Flower Beauty makeup sponge, and then the Real Techniques makeup sponge as well. I'm trying to recall, I think my least favorite, I loved the feel of the Flower Beauty sponge, but it was too, it wasn't enough of an angle. I like the point on the Beauty Blender. I felt like I can get into the crevices of my under eye and the nose area better than I could with this one. And there was something about the application that just didn't compare to other makeup sponges. So while I like the feel and the texture of it, it wasn't my favorite. And I did feel like it broke up a lot faster. I mean, it's still in pretty good condition. I just didn't love it enough. It was time to go. After a few months, I do like to let things go and start fresh. Before that, I was using, I believe, the L'Oreal makeup sponge. This one broke up really easy as well. I feel like a lot of the sponge started coming apart. I don't remember if I like this or not. I think it did the job. I don't think this was a favorite by any means. I didn't go out and repurchase it. I do like the structure of this a little bit better. It has a little bit of a point. But again, I still feel like the Beauty Blender is my preferred method, or my preferred sponge. Lastly, here is the Real Techniques makeup sponge. This is a great alternative or dupe as well. Again, just nothing compares. For me, nothing has compared to the Beauty Blender. I feel like that one does the best job. This I would repurchase again. It's easy, it's accessible. I do think that these just fall apart a lot faster than the regular Beauty Blender. I just haven't found one that just beats it out. I did buy that new Juno company brand one where it's like the microfiber one, so I'm curious to play with that one, but I haven't tested it out yet because I'm using my stash. I've been very much so in the mentality the past month or two that I want to use what I have, go through the products before really be excessive and keep buying things as backup that I never use. So lashes. Here I have the House of Lashes Iconic Lights. These I want to love. I think they're so beautiful. I have the dupe version, Cocoa Goddess lashes, which is a dupe for the regular Iconics, and those were too big. So I figured, let me get the Iconic Lights, but these are just too big. They overtake my whole eyelid space. I mean, and I don't think I have totally small eyes. The minute I put those lashes, they like basically touch my eyebrows. Way overwhelming on my face. I love the shape of it. I did get the Iconic Mini from House of Lashes, so I haven't tried that one yet. I want to say that one might be a little bit better because it's shorter lash frame. This frames the face too, I mean, this frames the eyes way too, it just encompasses my entire eye. I even cut it up, shortened it, like the lash, to see if maybe if I made like an outer lash, but still that outer lash basically reaches all the way up here. It just does not look right. It makes me look like I'm flying, or those, like, they look like wings on my eyes. So while I think these are beautiful, they're just not for me, and I now have an extra pair of Cocoa Goddess lashes that I could probably give away. Here is a concealer palette. This was from Measurable Difference. I got this palette in one of my BoxyCharms last year, and it just came with an array of different concealers, like here in a palette. I did use it a couple times. It was definitely a little bit of a drier formula, kind of can be a little bit difficult to work with. What I liked about this is the different arrays of colors that you have. If you needed to color correct, this was amazing, even with a little bit of oil to help kind of like smooth and make it more creamy in the skin. But I found that this just creased up on me a little bit, and I just don't really need to color correct, so it wasn't something that I touched or reached for. I think this, if you were a maybe makeup artist, working makeup artist, you might like something like this. But for someone who doesn't really need to conceal different skin tones or anything like that. I didn't find it necessarily, and only really used a couple of them. So I'll put this off to the side and see if anybody is wanting to play with this. I have a primer. This is the Stila One Step Correct Skin Tone Correcting and Brightening Serum. This was like a smaller sample size, I believe. I don't know if I got this somewhere or if I purchased it. It probably was in the like checkout aisle of Sephora that they had this, and I picked it up to try. I liked it in the beginning, but I felt like it was too hydrating for me and a little bit too, like, it scared me that it was causing me to break out a little bit. I just didn't keep using it. I didn't keep reaching for it. I used probably about like a half or a good size amount of it, but this has a 8-month or 6-month lifetime span. 6-month lifetime span, and this was way over. I definitely had this for over a year. So I let this go and I have tossed it. It's time to go bye-bye. I also have a little deluxe size sample of the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus. This is in the lavender scent. This came in a trio collection during the holidays last year at Nordstrom, I believe it was. And one was coconut, one was rose, and this is the lavender. I finished up the lavender. I think I'm currently on the coconut, and I think I still have the rose small size left over. This is pretty much at the end. It was really hard. There's like a couple of spritz in there still. But this was not my favorite scent. Definitely the coconut is my favorite scent. Oh, I just sprayed my hair and everything. The coconut so far is my favorite scent, so I'm really liking that. I also like the original scent, but I like Fix Plus. It's a staple that I keep to kind of set the powders on my skin and make sure that everything just looks hydrated and not so cakey and heavy. I have three foundations to talk about. I think I've already talked about these previously and said that I was throwing 2 of these out, but this is, I think I decluttered this recently. This is the Sephora, let me explain what it is first. The Sephora Perfection Mist Airbrush Foundation. This I got a few months back because it was on sale. I think it still is on sale on the website. This is in the color Creme or Cream, and it's too light for me. This is like, you know, so white and too light for my skin tone, and I really didn't like the application. Obviously, I mean, I'm fair, but this is like, I thought that this might be like an alternative to the Giorgio Armani. Is it Giorgio Armani? The Air Flash Foundation? Oh no, it's Dior. I thought that this possibly could have been a dupe for the Dior Air Flash Foundation. I've never tried the Air Flash, but I wanted to see, I guess, this type of formulation, this type of product, and packaging, the way it's an aerosol spray, and so I hated it. It doesn't spray very well. I think it only sprays in a certain angle. I don't know if it's down or I don't remember, but it's way too light for the skin, and it didn't look pretty on the skin. So I also have this L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover Full Coverage Foundation in 301. This I got a long time ago. This is definitely expired. I think I got this, it's going on about 2 years this winter, and it's, when I squeeze it out, it's separating. Oh, it looks so gross. I need a napkin. Ugh. This was also way too light on my skin tone when I purchased it. This is, I think, the fairest shade that they have, and it just looked way too light, made me look like a ghost, and it was kind of heavy, and I just never played with it. I just kind of left it there. I touched it a few times when I first got it, then it was summertime, and it was way too light for me then. I have just a few full coverage foundations, but I'm definitely much more of a light to medium buildable foundation type of gal, so this just kind of stayed at the wayside, and I never kind of looked back on it again. I wanted to try it when I decluttered this again to see if I liked it, and even then I still didn't touch it. So I'm letting this go. This definitely expired, so I'm gonna put this on the garbage list. This is the Maybelline Dream Cushion Foundation. This is the cushion foundation in 120 Classic Ivory. Oh no, not 120, just 20 Classic Ivory. You guys know that I've raved about this. This is actually like the second compact that I had. I think I had a slightly fairer one. I think I had a fairer one before this, and then I had this one, and I used this throughout the whole summer, and I've killed it. I'm overdue for a new one. I want to purchase this again because I love it. I think this just looks the most natural. Like, this is a perfect everyday foundation. You can definitely build this up to a nice like medium coverage foundation, and it's just, I don't know, it just looks so youthful on the skin, makes your skin look pretty glowy without being too glowy. It's definitely like a satiny type of finish. It has a little bit of a glow, but nothing, I wouldn't call this dewy, and it's definitely not a matte formula, but it's not as dewy as maybe other cushion foundations out there on the market. I just definitely think this is such a beautiful product. I definitely think this is an underrated foundation that nobody talks about enough, and I would recommend trying it out. I mean, I used to have oily skin, and when I first got this, this was me, my liking was based on a more oilier skin type, and I loved it. You guys definitely need to try it out. I definitely recommend just testing it out. I have a couple of blushes here that I need to toss out. I have 3 ColourPop Super Shock Cheek blushes that just dried out. I've had them for so long. This was in the color Homey. They just got really dry. It feels like clay at this point. This is in the color Trickery. This was also really, this was a pretty like coral shade or like orangey shade. And then this is in the color Clutch. This is like a super bright corally pink shade, and I really like these. I think out of the 3, Homey and Trickery were my favorite. Trickery, if you wanted something like almost like in the family of Milani's Luminoso, except this was a satin cheek. This wasn't as shiny, I guess, as shimmery. Homey is such a pretty, like a cool tone, plummy purple pink shade that's really pretty in the fall and winter. Again, I just didn't gravitate enough to this, and I never used it enough that it dried out. And then this one's a super hot coral pink one. I think when I first got this, I really liked it, but then it was just a little bit too intense for me. It was a little bit too much, a little bit too intense for me. I guess it scared me, and I never used it, and so it dried up. I have the Wet n Wild Fantastic Plastic Pink color. I actually really like the formulas of the Wet n Wild Color Icon blushes. These are all beautiful, and I like the color. This is a great color. However, this has like these silver glitter flecks in it that I cannot stand. I put it on my cheeks, and then you'll see like these, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm gonna get as close as possible. You see, like it has like glitter all over it. It's just not something that I want all over my face. Even when on a good skin day, I don't want these like silver flecks. I've just kind of grown past that, and I don't feel like it just looks right. Maybe if I was in my early 20s, I would have liked that more, but in the stage that I am now with makeup, that's just not what I'm looking for. It's a little bit too, I don't know. I like a little bit of glitter and sheen, but these are like specific little dots of silver flecks, and I can't stand that on my cheeks. I have, let's see, I have these little pots here. This one is the, what is this? Be a Bombshell Cosmetics Submissive Eye Base. This is just something that I never used. It's still actually a good product, so I'm gonna see if maybe my daughter would want it. It's kind of like, it's supposed to be an eyeshadow base, but you can definitely use it as a one and done eyeshadow. I just never gravitate towards it. The pots are kind of something hard for me to really go to, and I have a bunch of ColourPop eyeshadow, Super Shock shadows that I love, that I went over this one. Not that this is a bad product, I just, again, nothing that I reached for. So I will put this on the have somebody else look at pile. And then I have this ColourPop Cream Gel Color in Prance. This dried out, and while I love the color, it just didn't look good on my, it just didn't look good on me. I have brown eyes, dark eyebrows, dark hair, and this blue, even though I wish would look pretty on me, it's not the type of blue that just complements my eyes. So I let it go, and I never used it. I have this concealer from Maybelline. It's the Maybelline Dream Brightening Creaming Concealer in 20 Light. I got this on Influencer, and I didn't hate it. It's just not the right color for me. It's a little bit too dark. I don't like it for underneath the eyes. I mean, sometimes I would do it, but it's just too much of a hydrating formula where it ends up creasing too much underneath my eye. I'm gonna see if my daughter would like this again. It's supposed to be an illuminating like or a creamy concealer, and it does have a little bit of a glow factor to it, but it just wasn't a concealer that worked the best with me. It wasn't my favorite. It did okay. It's definitely a more natural looking concealer, so someone who's maybe younger or has really nice under eyes might like this a little bit more, so hence why I'm gonna see if my daughter would like to play with this. Now I got this. I don't want to open this. I'm gonna open this in front of the bag because this is a Blink Cosmetics eyeshadow palette that I received. It was in the Electric Eyes palette. It came in one of my box charms. This is a beautiful palette. However, that being said, they are so too creamy. They're too delicate. They have crumbled, fallen apart, cracked. You can't use them. Like, it's just so difficult to use because they're like, see what I mean? Like all falling apart, crumbly. But the shadows themselves were beautiful, but they need to figure out, it's a little bit too creamy. It's too, on the eyes it looks beautiful, but you can't use it. The palette, the shadows fall apart. You can't, they get all over the place. They need to figure out a way to have this set up maybe in a pot, but that palette format did not work. As much as I wanted to use the eyeshadows, it's just a mess, and it was just a nuisance to utilize. I'll go over the dud mascaras that I did not like. First one being the Sephora Lash Craft Length and Volume Mascara. These are mini size samples or deluxe size samples. I got the Sephora Favorites Mascara last year, and this is a part of it. A couple of these are a part of it. This was already a super dry formula. It did nothing for my lashes. When I only used it a couple times because it was just too dry. I don't know if that's the way the formula is supposed to be, but I couldn't tell you if this was how the actual formula is with a fresh tube. It did nothing for my lashes. Kind of like barely coated it, barely lifted it, no volume, just way too dry. And I don't like a super wet formula, but this is like on the completely opposite spectrum. I have the Makeup Forever Excessive Lash Mascara. This was another one from the favorites that I received or bought last year. This is another one that I did not like. I felt like, again, it didn't do much for my lashes. Again, the formula was kind of dry. The wand was really strange. Like, it's just a very small, thin wand, and I felt like it just made my lashes a little bit clumpy and just didn't do anything. It was not just nice on my lashes. Now the three that I do like, first one I have here is the Dior Show Mascara. Again, this is from the favorites. This is a nice mascara. I wouldn't call this my favorite, but I thought it was very nice. It just provided a more kind of natural looking lash. It wasn't too heavy, it wasn't too volumized or too lengthened. I really like the scent in it. I know some people probably hate it. And it has a big, fat, kind of fluffy wand, natural bristles, and then it kind of tapers at the end. Overall, this wasn't okay. I did find myself using it more on like a natural day. This mascara, however, if you want Va Va Voom, everyone talks about this mascara. So it's the Lancome Monsieur Bing Mascara. You can see here, this is such a beautiful mascara. It's definitely a little bit more of a more wet formula. Has a natural bristle brush, which I kind of prefer. It's kind of like medium, not too thick, not too like big and puffy and wide. It just fits your lashes nicely. You gotta be careful you can. I feel like, you know, I always get mascara on my eyelids, but this just provides a lot of length and a lot of volume. Like, it definitely makes your lashes look super dramatic and beautiful, and I would repurchase this. I don't often buy a luxury or a higher end mascara because they're so expensive, but this is a really good one that I just might. Even though I'm always at the drugstore, I'm always getting, I'd rather just grab the quickest mascara because they do run out. After 3 months, you shouldn't be using them. So that's such a beautiful mascara. If I can find a dupe for it, I would. Okay, this one is a drugstore mascara, and it's the L'Oreal Double Extend Beauty Tubes mascara. This was a tubing mascara that I got for my wedding back in April. So it has a primer on one side in the white, and then the regular mascara portion on the other side. This is a natural haired fiber brush as well, kind of like long and skinny, not too thick. I liked it. I liked it because it was a tubing mascara. I thought it lifted my lashes really nice, held them in place all day long. If I hate waterproof mascaras, so that for me, tubing mascaras is my alternate because they don't kind of like run. Sometimes though, I did find that this one would kind of like crumble apart, even though it's not supposed to come off except in warm water. But I've been to the pool, and when I went to the pool, there were a few times where you would see a little bit of the mascara tubes like across my face. So that was a bummer, but overall, this was a decent mascara if you wanted something that would last all day and not kind of run down your face or anything or smudge. It helped the curl in your lashes in place all day, which I really liked. So definitely recommend checking this out if you haven't done so before. I have two NYX micro brow pencils here. One is in brunette and the other one is in chocolate. These are the shades here. I stopped using these. I've had them for a long time, but I stopped using them because I found when I was using them on my eyebrows, like my hairs would kind of pull out while using these. So I was a little scared to and hesitant to keep using this. I didn't want my hairs to continue falling out. I want my hairs to maintain as full as possible. So I did stop using it when I found other products that worked better. So I have tossed these away, and these are super old now at this point. So they're just a little bit too much of a stiffer, waxy formula, and they're now over their 12-month expiration date. I have two other NYX products. They're two NYX lip liner pencil. One is in the color Mauve, and the other one is in the color Nectar. These are just super old. I've had them since probably around the time that I started this channel. I don't know why I kept them so long. I actually need to go through more of those lip liners and toss them because I've had them probably not long after I bought these. So these were just wooden pencils that I really didn't like. I think the Nectar one I might have received in some sort of like a freebie gift somewhere. The Mauve I did like at the time, but it's just too stiff. I didn't really like the formula as much and just never really used them. I have another brow pencil here. This is the IT Brow Power Universal Taupe pencil. I didn't like this pencil, obviously, because I still have a lot left. I think this color was not the best shade for me. Also, it kind of dried out. Like if I'm trying to like see how it wouldn't even, yeah, it's definitely past its prime. I think this was also another one that was pulling at my hairs and I stopped using it. I didn't purchase this. This was a like BoxyCharm product that came in and just obviously didn't work out for me. Another BoxyCharm dud was this Vintage Cosmetics or Vintage by Jessica Lead Skinned Smoky Eye Pencil in Jet Black. I think this was too, I mean, if you like to smoke out your waterline or your lash line, I think this was a great product. But for me, my purposes, I barely use things like this. I don't know why. I like to put some in my waterline on occasion, and this just kind of smeared everywhere. So this is definitely not for the waterline. It's just super creamy. It's a very creamy formula. I think it just smudges everywhere. For an eyeliner pencil, I want it to be creamy, but I also want it to set, and this just did not do that. I have this old Jordana 12 Hour Made to Last eyeshadow pencil stick. This is just super old. Again, I've had this for like years, and I bought this sort of to be as like a base for the eye, and I never use bases. I'm much more simpler in my makeup. I just use the eyeshadows with a primer, and I don't use eyeshadow sticks. You know, it's just maybe down the road. I feel like lately I've been simplifying my makeup routine a lot, especially my eyes. I just have not been using a lot of eyeshadows. You can probably tell I have no eyeshadows on today. But, I don't know. Okay, this is the Marc Jacobs Highliner Pencil in Gel Crayon in black. I don't know why. It's just super old. I've had this one for a while. I just don't use it. It was falling apart. It keeps crumbling on me right now. If you look up close, like there's a big piece sticking out. It's a super black product. A lot of people rave about it. I have a brown one, and I think I have a blue one as well, which I barely use. Again, I am not an eyeliner person. I do on a rare occasion use one, but it's, like I said, it's on rare occasion. I prefer using eyeshadow as an eyeliner anytime. Lastly, another BoxyCharm product that just, I mean, it was a dud for me. This might have been okay for somebody else, but this is a Cargo lip gloss. The color is called Taos. It's just too, I don't know, I didn't like the formula. I didn't love the scent, and I didn't like the color. Just the color kind of is too on like the brownie side, like really light brown, peachy. It's just like a skin nude color, and it just didn't look, it washed me out. I'm pale, so, and this just washes me out. It didn't look pretty on the lips. That is the end of these empties. This is my part 2 of my part 1, which I will link up above here or down below. I guess any questions on any of the items that I've used or mentioned today, let me know in the description box below. And I hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you have. Click on the subscribe button if you haven't already, and hopefully I'll catch you on the next video. Bye!